scapula in a position. You're going to do forward leaning, and I can take my arm here. Okay? I'm going to take this arm here, and I can give her a little bit more input. All right? Now, the good thing about weight bearing is the patient has a subluxation. Okay? So when we do the weight bearing, we want to make sure that you have a shoulder subluxation. Why? Because maybe her scapula is downward rotated, the shoulder subluxation. So now we got that scapula into more neutral or more upward rotated position. I'm not talking about getting it up, but just getting it from pointing down. So we have that scapula in a nice position now. Now when we do that, right, I'm cupping the humerus here. Now when we do that weight bearing, we're getting the humerus approximated into there, and now when we weight bear, we're getting co-contraction of these scapular muscles. Okay? And like I said, it's either going to improve the tone, or if the tone is very spastic, it's going to help take it down. Okay? All right. So the last thing I'll go over with you is how do you open the spastic hand? Oh, two things. One, when we do the weight bearing, and I forgot the reason why. When you look at the hand doesn't have to be perfectly flat like that, okay? So sometimes the patient's fingers might be up a little bit. And that's okay. Some therapists really get caught up with the fact that the fingers aren't straight. Certainly I straighten them out, but I don't stress over the fact if they're not completely straight. You can still do weight bearing if the hand is not completely straight, okay? When you do the weight bearing, it is a little advantageous if you externally rotate the shoulder a little bit when you do the weight bearing. So you want the hand placed out when you do your weight bearing. Okay? You feel a little difference there? So this is neutral, shoulder neutral position. How does that feel?
It feels more like it. I feel like I'm straining more.
You're straining more, right?
Yeah.
When I put you out like this, how does that feel now?
That's more comfortable, actually.
It's more comfortable, yeah. Okay. So how do we do this, right? When I point the hand out, what happens to the shoulder? Externally rotates the humerus. So yeah, you want to point them. I mean, you don't have to get them in full external rotation. You don't have to be ridiculous about it. But get the hand pointed out. Okay. Get the shoulder into some external rotation when you do the weight bear, and you're going to get more out of the patient when you do the weight bearing. Okay. So I forgot to mention that. In the clinic, I'm just doing, I'm not thinking, did I accelerate the shoulder? I'm sitting down, I just automatically, I'm not really thinking about it anymore. Usually not, but, okay. So if the hand is flaccid, then getting their hand in this position is very easy, yes? So what do you do when the hand is spastic, right? How do you open the spastic hand? So, the way you should open the spastic hand is you shouldn't grab it like this and start to what? Yank on it. Okay? Make a fist for me. When the patient's in a fist, the distal arch is what? I'm not using curse words, right? The distal arch is not a curse word, is it? Okay. So when the patient makes a fist, the distal arch is what? The distal arch has a what to it?
Curve.
A curve. When the hand is open the hand. The distal arch is what?
Flat.
It's flat. Okay? So, if the patient is tight, that means the distal arch is what? Curved. So me grabbing her fingers and pulling them out is not that beneficial because I'm pulling her fingers out, but the arch is still what? The arch is still curved. So, the best way to do that is to try to flatten out the distal arch. So what we want to do when you have a patient who's tight is I'm going to pull their thenar and their hypothenar away from each other. And what does that do when I pull thenar and hypothenar away from each other? I flatten the distal arch, which begins to open the hand. Do you see that? Now, what's my hand placement? I'm going to grab the thumb like this. If I'm doing the other hand, I'm grabbing the thumb. Okay, we don't let go of the thumb. We always hold on to that thumb. It's like a thumb shake. Hey, you know. Okay? So we're going to hold that thumb shake here. This hand is going to, right, my little lateral pinch here, I'm going to pull that fifth metacarpal into extension. Okay? And that's going to what? Flatten the hand, flatten the arch. So I might hold this for a little bit. Okay? Might do a little bit of jiggling, right? So I'm going to flatten out that distal arch. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I'll show you from this side, is I'm going to take the radial side of my second phalanx, right? Once I feel like the distal arch is pretty flat, I'm going to slide my index finger over the proximal phalanges, okay? And I'm going to hyperextend her MPs now, okay? Still keeping that distal arch what? Flat. So I went from a flat distal arch to a distal arch with MP extension. And then, with these fingers, you see that? I'm going to now add the PIP and DIP. Now, her hand is what? Ready for weight bearing. I have control of her arm. She ain't going anywhere. That hand is open, it's flat, it's out, it's ready to go. I'm now going to put that hand here, and I'm going to put my leg on it, because I need 3 arms on these clients, and now I can do this. Does that make sense? So I'll show it to you again, and we'll practice how do you open a tight hand. Okay? We don't want to just go in and pull the fingers and open up the hand like that. Okay? There's an easier way to do it. I'll show you again. I'm very right-handed. If I could do both hands, you can do both hands, okay? Maybe I'll show you on this hand, right? Patient's tight. You got a thumb shake, right? This hand is going to come in here, and what? You're going to pull the what? Thenar and hypothenar away from each other to flatten out the distal arch. Okay, and I have her arm here. You know, she's not going anywhere. If the patient's tight, I'm not doing this. Okay? You don't want to do that. Okay? Trust me, if you open the hand first, it's going to be easier at the elbow. Because once I begin to get her like this, now, if I want that elbow straight, I just pull. I can just pull here and get the arm out. Okay? So I'm doing thenar from hypothenar. I'm flattening out the distal arch. And once I do that, I'm going to take this part of my finger, right? And I'm going to slide it to what? MP extension. So I have the distal arch what? Flat. You can curl your fingers. Curl. Yeah. So I have the distal arch flat. I have MPs in extension. I'm going to hold that there for a little while until I feel like the tone is decreasing. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the what? The fingers. Once I got the fingers, I have the arm. Now I'm ready for what? Weight bearing. Okay? You got to be able to do it on either what? On either side. Okay? I got it. Once I got it like this, do I want to let it go? No. I want to hold that there and make sure I'm in position.